It's great to be here, and thanks to all of you for coming out, and thanks to CertiStay for putting the event together. We'll talk more about CertiStay, but I'm very pleased to be an advisor there. I think it's a fascinating idea. I get lots of opportunities to work with startups. I pick only a few, and I picked this one because I think it's a really interesting idea. So I want to talk tonight about travel and about 21st century travel. And I think we should remember that travel is the sherbet between courses of reality, right? Travel is dessert. Travel should be fun. But travel planning isn't always fun. The average consumer searches over 20 sites before they decide what they want to buy. So maybe I can help. I've been on this road a long time. When I was 21, I spent a year traveling around the world with two buddies, so that was a good education. I started my career as a receptionist in a travel agency 40 years ago. I've been a travel agent. I was a tour guide in Russia. I've been a tour operator. I founded a travel agency. I've been a vice president of an airline. I served on boards of 3 travel companies, La Quinta Hotels, Luxury Link, and Smart Destinations. I was the chief information officer at American Airlines and Sabre. When I was CIO, they gave me this little project called Easy Sabre. It was on AOL and CompuServe. And I took that product and we put it online and called it Travelocity.com. And we took that from a team of 12 to over $10 billion in sales. After Travelocity was taken private, I helped found KAYAK.com, where I served as chairman with these two gentlemen who ran the product. We took it public, and then we sold it to Priceline for $1.8 billion. I recently founded my 4th travel startup, Wayblazer, which is using artificial intelligence to try to revolutionize travel once again. So I'm not that guy from the movie Up in the Air, but I did spend 150 nights in hotels last year, and I have been to over 100 countries. So I'm going to try to offer some advice, mostly from a U.S. perspective. I put a little Canadian flavor in here, but you guys know more about that than I do. But since the #1 site in Canada is Expedia, I think I can talk about that. So I want to talk about 21st century travel planning. What's changed in the 21st century? We've got all these terms from sharing to bidding to auction to flash sites, and it's all pretty confusing. And it's really based on the changes that have come through in technology. Now, the introduction was right. When I went to work at Vega Travel, the very first day they said you have to make this reservation via telegram. And even I was a little shocked at that time. We weren't that advanced, but I didn't think telegrams were still in use. But they actually were. And that was back in what we call IT phase 1. Back when computers were adding up the books, toting up the sales, making the reservations. And then an interesting thing happened because airfares were deregulated, and we started putting automation into travel agents. And that's what caused this huge spike of growth of travel agents, because suddenly prices were all different, flights were all different. You had to call people for a booking. And travel agents got up to 80% market share of airline seats. And then something else happened. Right? The internet was introduced. And we got to IT phase 2, which are systems of engagement, systems in which we engage our customers online. And that led to the rise of online agents, particularly Travelocity and Expedia, which were the first big ones. And 18,000 travel agents went out of business in the US. But surprisingly to many people, 18,000 are still there and adding value. And I know some of you here are agents. And my daughter is a travel agent of all things. So I spent my life putting them out of business, and she is one. How does that work, right? So there are some secrets in this business. 2 companies have been gobbling up everybody else. Expedia gobbled up all these various companies. So as you watch them disappear, you can see that Priceline and Expedia have really taken everybody else, I think this is stopped for some reason, off the table. So they are the 2 major brands now in the United States, and they own everybody else. Online agents are actual registered travel agents. They have a wide variety of products. They certainly have large customer service organizations. They are safe and reliable, but I'd say today they're peas in a pod. And travel suppliers may be hostile to you if you book through an online agent. You may have experienced that when you check in at a hotel or an airline. They say, oh, you booked through one of those guys. You don't get points, or you can't cancel your flight. You can't make a change. And they don't offer some airlines, like in the United States, none of these guys offer Southwest. Now, their airline prices in the US are not better than the airlines. Their chain hotel prices are no longer better than chains. So all the brand hotels have said to the online guys, we won't give you better prices than you could find on their own websites. In fact, today, many times you could find lower prices on Marriott or on Hyatt than you can directly from the supplier. Their international hotel pricing may be quite good. Their package pricing is very good. And their cruise pricing may be good. So if you're just buying air in a chain hotel, you might go to Expedia or Travelocity or Orbitz because you like them, because you find them easy to use. That's great. Don't expect to find a lower price. But internationally, with dynamic packaging or cruise pricing, they may be good. So Expedia really invented this thing, this dynamic packaging where you put air and hotel or cruise and hotel together at a discount. And those prices are great. They do that on the fly. They are now the world's largest travel agency. Travelocity.com, when I took it public for $1.2 billion, they recently kind of committed suicide. They outsourced all their technology to Expedia, and they eventually sold to Expedia for $250 million. So they destroyed about $1 billion worth of value in the 10 years after I left them. So they're part of Expedia now. Orbitz was founded by the airlines to kill Travelocity. Its internal code name was Travelocity Terminator. And so the airlines put that together in the US. It's been bought and sold several times. It focused on customer service and was sold to Expedia for $1.2 billion. So Expedia is a house of brands, but they've done something I think is damaging and doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think Dara, who ran Expedia until recently, now he's the president of Uber, did something kind of funny. They put all these sites with the same back end, but they gave them the same front end. They now look identical when you book. So people say to me, what is the difference between Travelocity, Orbitz, and Expedia? And my answer is absolutely nothing. There is no difference at all between those three sites. They run on the same computer backend. They have the same suppliers. They are the same. So you can pick any one. They're peas in a pod. Priceline has a different perspective. They're a house of brands, but they really have great differentiation in their products. So Booking.com is the engine behind Priceline. It's why they're worth over $100 billion. Booking.com is quite different than Priceline. And KAYAK, which they purchased as well, also very different. So they let those sites run on their own. They do leverage some purchasing together. They leverage what they do with Google. But you'll find different prices, different suppliers, and different software on Priceline's owned products. Now, there's another site in the United States called Cheapo Air. Surprisingly, it's the second largest site for airline sales. It has a kind of a funny name, Cheapo. It's great for international, and they do something that most other online companies don't do. They push people to the phone. They have a great customer service department, and actually they make a lot of their money through people who call because they're able to sell lots of ancillary products. So they're very good at international flights and cheap international flights. Now, Flight Network, you know very well, much better than I do. Seems like an interesting site because they guarantee lowest fare and they'll match other people's prices. And most US sites won't do that. So that, to me, that's a very interesting selling point, that they will match anybody else's low price. So in Canada, Expedia CA #1, Flight Network 2, Hotwire #3, also owned by Expedia, Red Tag Vacations, and then iTravel 2000. This is the last study I could find. Now, what about portals? Some people book with Bing and some people book with Google. There's really nothing special here. They outsource most of their work, so it's either advertising or they're using some other engine like Expedia or Travelocity. So you may find them easy to use. You're not going to find anything particularly special if you look at their products, although a lot of people start there. Now, there are also consolidators. Travel agents have used consolidators for years. Many of them are online. They offer extremely cheap international airfares, business class deals, but read the reviews. Usually the problem with these guys is they have terrible customer service, but they may have awesome prices. Many of them are ethnically based, so you may see a great site for going to Korea or going to China or going to Malaysia or going to India. They market to their ethnic groups, but they do get extraordinary, interesting airfares. So there are a lot of them around, but read the reviews. Now, how many people here have flown on Ryanair? Okay, lots of you. An amazing company, the airline that goes from nowhere to nowhere is what people say, because they go from airports you've never heard of to other airports you've never heard of, but they do it incredibly cheaply. I mean, this airline is so cheap, they took out the window shades to save fuel, okay? They are really cheap, and they upcharge you for everything, right? If you don't check in online, you get an upcharge. If you check a bag, you get an upcharge. If you bring on carry-on, you get an upcharge. If you look out the window the wrong way, you get an upcharge. They upcharge you for everything, but you can go at a rock-bottom price. So if you want to go from nowhere to nowhere for hardly any money and put up with it, it's awesome. But you can be very afraid if you don't know what you're doing, because you can end up paying a lot of money if you don't know kind of their shtick. So read the reviews, understand how they work. You can save a lot of money, and you know, there isn't much difference between airlines. It's sort of 2 hours in an aluminum tube with nasty people, you know, no matter who you fly on, right? It's not a great experience. So Ryanair's okay. EasyJet, very simple, very similar. Both of them great ways to get around Europe. And you know what I've left out of this is, of course, the huge change in Europe because of high-speed rail. Jean-Louis Metzler of SNCF was the guy who really started that. I had the great honor to work with him because we took the Sabre system at American Airlines and taught it about trains. And we took a Sabre reservation system and it was implemented at SNCF. That was really the first high-speed rail. High-speed rail in Europe has basically eliminated inter-European air flights. Most people take the train. It's so much better. It's more comfortable. It's downtown to downtown. It's the way to go. And it's the only way I travel inside Europe because it's awesome. So I shouldn't have left it out. Complex air trips are hard. Most people go to agents for really complicated trips. But there is one site that does that. It's called AirTrex. They'll actually price around the world fares. And by the way, I'll give you a list of this stuff at the end. So lesson one is that online travel agents don't have the best domestic and hotel prices. The airlines and hotels do, with the exceptions of packages. So if you want the lowest prices, go direct. Now, meta search, what does that mean? Well, after I left Travelocity, one night I had a dinner with the founder of Expedia and the founder of Orbitz and a venture capitalist and myself, and we said, you know, our customers are getting smarter. First, they're searching Travelocity and Expedia for price, and then they're going direct to American and Marriott to buy. Now, I know none of you have ever done that, but you know, we found lots of people were doing that, and so we invented meta search. And meta search simply means that we search everything, but we offer a choice of where you buy, and you can click and buy direct from the carrier. And that gives you lots and lots of choice of where you buy. And then when you click, let's say to American, you're not taken to the first page, you're taken to the last page. They already know your name, they know everything else, and you buy. So the suppliers like it because the customer is highly likely to purchase, and consumers like it because it's quick and easy and they buy directly from the supplier. So they get those points, they get the discount, they bought direct, but they're able to comparison shop first. Hipmunk is another site that does that. They have kind of an interesting chart basis that shows you what they call the agony index, and how long you're going to be in a tiny seat, which plane has the most room. Trivago. Are you seeing a lot of ads for Trivago up here? Yeah, they're on TV like crazy. They're probably spending, well, I know they're spending way too much money. They're trying to build their brand. We'll see how that works. Priceline is pummeling them. But they're very similar to KAYAK. Skyscanner, which was recently sold, is similar. So meta search can be a really good way for you to comparison shop, but don't comparison shop and then leave and go to Marriott or American. Just click. That's how those companies make money, but it's also easier because you don't have to start over. You get right to the last page and make your booking. So meta search saves time, and you book direct. You'll rarely find a better price by searching farther for air or domestic hotels. Speaking of hotels, we can talk about hotels.com, which apparently is quite big up in Canada. It's owned by Expedia. They have some very good discounts. So hotel.com is worth checking. Not for chain hotels, but for other hotels. Booking.com is really the engine that made Priceline. Excellent international rates, very comprehensive. Again, if you're not booking a chain, Booking.com is great. Now, what is the order? You know, when you go to these sites and say, what does this say? It's a little hard for me to see. Most popular. That really means most profitable for them. So the order is most profitable. So never go with the default order. Always put in a location or a brand or something else, because what you see there is exactly the same thing you see on Google. It's paid placement. It is in the order of profitability, not in the order of what's best for you. So you may remember that Priceline began as a company where you bid for an airline ticket or a hotel. Priceline still does that. It's a little hard to find, but you can bid for hotels. And I do it myself. I use Priceline, particularly in a large city like New York. So you'll say, I want to stay on the west side or midtown. I want a 4-star hotel. They won't tell you the name of the hotel until after you buy it. But they'll say it's a hotel like this. And you really get a big discount. And it's worked for me like crazy, except when I was dating my wife, a woman who's now my wife, and we stayed in room 13.5, which was under a stairwell, and you had to bend over to get into it. She said, "You're the travel guy? You know, how did you do this?" Sometimes you can have problems, but mostly I did very well on Priceline, and I would recommend, if you go to a big city, you can do well. Again, Hotwire started with an opaque products, now it's traditional, but you can still buy opaque cars there. Opaque meaning you don't know who you're buying from. I buy cars from Hotwire a lot when I'm paying myself. Because again, I don't really care which car company it is. And you know, as long as it's on airport, I don't care. So they just say, hey, it's 25 bucks, fine, I'll buy from them. So Hotwire, pretty interesting. Anybody here tried Hotels Tonight? A couple. So Hotel Tonight, a really interesting product started by a friend of mine, Sam Schenk. It's only an app, and until recently, I guess this week, you could only book hotels for tonight. So let's say the meeting ran over and you're stuck. Or you know you're in a big city. Take a chance. They have awesome rates because basically they're selling last-minute deals. So if you're willing to take a chance, you can do it. Now, they just started selling out, I think, about 6 months in advance. I don't know how good those deals are. They're probably not that great. But their deals for tonight are awesome. I'll use it when I get delayed. I'll use it when my plans change. It's a pretty interesting idea. Now, hotels in particular are fighting back against the large online travel agencies. They want you to book direct. So you're going to see more and more deals for booking direct. So Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, Fairmont, they're offering sometimes up to 10% to book direct. Or they're offering to double your miles. Or they're saying you can't get miles or points if you don't book direct. Or you get free Wi-Fi. So if you're going to stay at a chain, it absolutely pays to look at the chain and decide if you want to book direct. But it can pay to actually call, and I'm the online guy telling you this, if it's an independent hotel. You can try, you can call, and you can haggle. So if you're willing to spend the time, and in this busy life we have, most people aren't, you can still call and get a good deal from time to time, particularly in places like Vegas. Other places to crash, well, certainly Airbnb. We're going to talk more about them. From private residence to apartments, worldwide, very inexpensive. How do you know when a new idea is catching on? Well, when a big brand says something like this. Oh, it's serving different need. I don't think customers want it. I just don't buy it, says the president of Hilton. When the president of a big brand says he's not worried, he's really worried. That's what he's saying. And guess what? Airbnb's market cap is greater than Marriott and Starwood and Hyatt combined. So they're pretty awesome. There's also HomeAway from down in Austin, Texas. When this brand started, I didn't think it was going to work. They put together about 20 brands, and they built something pretty interesting. Best vacation home site, probably. Very broad inventory. VRBO is now owned there. They're all owned by Expedia now, which is changing them a bit. We had a discussion at lunch today about how they're changing. But what you're going to see now is Expedia and Booking.com and others, including vacation homes, when you search for hotels. So when you go to the big brands, you'll now see hotels and vacation homes side by side. Another one is Inspirato. That's paid membership. They have good discounts and dedicated agents. So it pays to shop for boutique hotels, international hotels, opaque hotels. There are lots of deals and last-minute bargains. And book chains direct, but shop around for independence. Now, how about attractions? Attractions have gone online. Viator, probably the best place to go for things to do. They're now owned by TripAdvisor. They're very international, wide selection of things to do. You can buy lots of day tours here. So if you don't know what to do for a day, that's a good one. Smart Destinations. I was on the board of this company. We're in 12 cities in the US. Deep discounts. Let's say you're going to Boston. You can buy everything in Boston at 40% off before you go. So you want to take the Ducks tour, see the JFK Museum, go to Old North Church, 40% off for everything. This company was just sold to Big Bus. Get Your Guide, another one, has lots of terrific tours, and Zozy. So there are lots of online companies where you can find activities and things to do. You can save quite a lot, and particularly with several of these, skip the line. So with Smart Destinations, if you're going to Chicago, you want to go to the Art Institute in the summer, you'll spend an hour and a half in line. But if you buy a ticket from Smart Destinations, you go to the front of the line. So it's worth it to buy attractions in advance. There are awesome ones like Abercrombie and Kent. Many of these are being sold to Chinese firms, are buying up large American and Canadian tour operators. And there are lots of excellent small tour operators. If you want a great experience, look for a small tour operator like Myths and Mountains that does tours to Nepal. Airline vacation sites, they're typically outsourced. They're usually not very creative, but they're a great place to use points. So if you have a lot of airline points and want to go on a vacation, particularly an all-inclusive vacation, you want to go to Florida or Mexico or the Caribbean, check those out because you can use points to buy them. Now, Red Tag, again, we saw on the list, they're a big site. How many people have used Red Tag? So a few. Looks like a good place. You know, they have last-minute deals. They guarantee their prices. Looks like they sell a lot. I would check it out. Looks pretty interesting, and you don't get to be third or fourth in Canada if you're not very good. So you can book direct with great operators and do well. But if you want help choosing the best experience, get an agent. I'm going to talk more about agents in a minute. Cruises. You can certainly buy cruises online. The large online travel agents have great cruise sales. Go direct for complex cruising. And you know, you can get a great price if you're a repeat cruiser from the cruise line, but agents generally have the best deals. They really have the best deals. They will get you maybe not a discount, but a better cabin or an upgrade or some free tours. They really have the goodies. So experienced cruisers many times will book direct because they've cruised over and over again. If you're a first-time cruiser, I would absolutely go to an agent because they're going to get you a better deal and explain how it works. So complex multi-week cruises, either book direct if you're experienced or get a great agent to help you. Now, there's tons of stuff going on online. How do you sort it out? What about advice? Well, we all know TripAdvisor, 145 million hotel reviews now at TripAdvisor. 50% of travelers booked a new activity due to reviews. So we all read reviews, we all rely on reviews more than we rely on brands. But there are a lot of other advice sites. So Seat Guru is one I use all the time. I was using it today. I'm going around the world in a week. And I have to go to London and Kuala Lumpur and Beijing and Shanghai and Hong Kong. So I was using Seat Guru to find out what's the right seat on the right aircraft where I want to sit. And the right seat can make a huge difference. There are many of these sites. I also frequently go to YouTube and look at a seat review from one of these mileage junkies who just flies around everywhere trying out seats. It's nuts, but it's worth doing if you're going to be on an airplane for 15 hours. Gate Guru is another one. Gate Guru shows you if you're going from gate 40 to gate 90, what's in between? Where can I grab a sandwich? Where's a decent place to eat in an airport? Flyer Talk, and there are dozens of these sites, are good for mileage junkies if you want to get more miles, or again, to get those reviews on what's the best airline today, because things change all the time. But websites give reviews, not advice, and get advice on where to go from agents or from friends. Now, mobile, big thing. 80% of leisure travelers own a smartphone. When we started KAYAK Mobile, we thought it was going to be about next flight out, about a hotel tonight. It turns out that the behavior is just like the desktop. People book 2.5 weeks out using mobile. And so we were able to change our product quickly enough that now we have 55 million people using our app. So people are addicted to these kind of apps. Hotels are getting into the game. Now you can tweet or text your hotel for room service. And many hotels are beginning to install Amazon Alexa or Google Home. So you can just yell across the room and ask it to do something. And mobiles work right here, as we're here. So my phone has KAYAK, Uber, Hotel Tonight, all the airlines, Southwest, Amtrak in the US, a couple of regional transport associations, and Gate Guru and Seat Guru. So many mobile apps are better than the website. Check them out on your tablet. And a lot of people still don't. I only use mobile boarding passes. And, I cracked 150,000 miles in April, so that's how much I fly. Mobile boarding passes are the way to go. Now, here's a surprise that the guy who started online travel revolution uses travel agents. Because when I go on vacation, I want an experience. I want expert advice. Using an expert allowed me to cook with a one-star chef in France, to stay in a boma in Botswana, to have a guide who read hieroglyphics to my son as we went down the Nile, to make noodles in Beijing with my daughter. So when I need expert advice, could you give me a moment to collect my thoughts? It's been some time since I spoke on the phone to an actual person, right? It happens to all of us. When I need advice, I use a traditional travel agent. For me, it's my daughter. I'm pretty lucky. But if you want an amazing trip, find an amazing agent. And particularly those agents who are associated with Alltour or MX Concierge or Virtuoso. Those associations give them buying power and the way to really get you amazing trips. And the most, I would say now, having been in 100 countries, I spend the money to get the best guide I can afford. So I was in Mexico the other day making a speech. I had 3 hours in the afternoon. I asked my daughter to get me a guide for the Anthropological Museum. My guide worked 35 years at the museum. I got a tour that nobody else got. I saw things nobody else saw. I was standing right next to everybody else. I didn't go in a secret room. I just had the right person to explain it to me. And that's worth a lot. Now, you can do some of that on a smartphone today. You can do some of that with Audible. But mostly it's about having somebody to really give you the right experience. There's so much more. I'm an advisor to this company, Trusted House Sitters. So if you have a pet, many people won't travel because they're worried about their pet. Here's how this works. I went online, listed my home in Lake Tahoe, said I'm going to be on vacation for 2 weeks. A bunch of people basically said, we want to babysit your pet. We picked a couple. They had a background check. We knew who they were. It's sort of like Airbnb. They came and stayed at our house for free. We didn't pay them. They didn't pay us. And they took care of our dog and even sent us pictures while we were gone. So it's an awesome way to have somebody take care of your pet, trusted house sitters. You can rent rail cars, private rail travel. For my 65th birthday, I rented 2 rail cars and took a bunch of people from Seattle to LA. It's just sort of like renting a boat, and it's an awesome way to travel. Insurance, pretty important when you travel. I get travel insurance when I travel to difficult parts of the world, particularly for evacuation, if there's a problem, and I'm getting old. But check your credit card. Many times your credit card will automatically provide that insurance. We all have lots of benefits on our credit card we forget about. What about the future? Well, lots of things interesting happening. A robo-butler. Hotels now have robo-room service. There is a robot hotel in Japan, and these are the actual people, robots who check you in, a dinosaur and a strange-looking woman and a robot. Of course, we're going to see self-driving cars are already giving tours. This automated bus is popping up a lot of places. Elon Musk, of course, is pushing Hyperloop as a new way for us to travel. We're seeing a lot more automated customs around the world. I checked in very quickly. It was funny last night. I used the system here in Canada. I don't have Nexus. So I used it, and it couldn't read my passport. It said, go see an agent. And I went and saw the agent. He said, go back and use another machine. I said, well, it told me to talk to you. And they said, yeah, just use another machine. It's going to just send you back and forth. So eventually I found a machine that worked. We're seeing security improved a lot. So we're seeing these new lines where you can move faster with the bins. We're also seeing the rise of virtual reality. I think some people are using VR and not going, but some people are using VR and going, or AR, augmented reality, particularly in the new iPhone. So you're going to be able to hold it up and, in front of the column of Trajan, it's going to tell you all about it and augment your reality by telling you more about it. Checking bags. Now, I never check bags because I work for an airline and I know where bags go. They don't go where you go. But actually, you know that joke about the guy who said, I want to go to Cleveland, I want my bag to go to Dallas. And they said, we can't do that. And they said, why not? You did it last week. But mishandled bags are down 44% in the last 6 years, 9 per 1,000. And now airlines are introducing radio frequency tags like Alaska and others. So it's getting much safer to check your bag, but I still won't do it. Subway-style gates, more self-check-in is going to happen. Drones, they're using drones to inspect an aircraft. So next time you see a little drone flying around your airplane before it takes off, that's doing the inspection. Beacons are coming to airports. Beacons are little things that talk to your cell phone. So as you walk through the airport, you may get a coupon or a deal being offered to you as you walk through the airport. And bots, we'll talk a little bit more bots. Are you going to have a travel avatar pretty soon who helps you plan your trip? I think so. So will everything be unbundled, on demand, and mobile? Yes. Online travel is exploding. These are companies that are just focusing on unbundling hotels, attacking different parts of hotels as startups. This is sort of the online travel map of everything that's happening. So you're going to see more and more in the online travel world, and we're moving into IT Phase 3. A lot of that has to do with user-generated content, because users obviously have begun to create information. We have this explosion of travel data creation on Facebook, on YouTube, on Pinterest. 90% of the world's data has been created in the last 3 years. 80% of that data is unstructured. It's mostly posts and blogs. So now we're moving into IT Phase 3. We talked about 1 and 2. IT Phase 3 is systems of insight. Systems that can bring insights out of all this new unstructured data. And to fix that, we need AI. So AI is really what I'm doing in my new startup called Wayblazer. And a lot of people say to me, well, Terry, do you need to do another startup? And I say, no, I'm on government health care now and a pension. I don't really need to do another startup. But I want to do another startup. And this startup begins here. With AI, you can get richer input. So whether it's Siri, or natural language search, or gestures, or wearables, we can learn more about the customer when they start. Unfortunately, most travel sites have not evolved. This is Travelocity. Today, it is exactly the same as when I designed it in 1996. Where are you going and when? right? But you really want to say, gee, I want to go to an island with my family and play golf and have things to do. But you can't say that. And if you say it to Google, you won't get any answer. So we want to discover traveler intent at Wayblazer so that we can help make the perfect product selection. So at leading hotels of the world, now you can say, I want to go to an island resort for kids. And we'll actually show you an island resort for kids. And if you say an island resort for kids in November, you'll get a different set of hotels because the rest of them are sold out. So that's kind of a beginning. We can also do richer output. So we've looked at 25 million images. And the computer looks at the image and says, oh, that's a man, a woman, a sunset, and a pool. And then we run it through our language processor to say, what is that image about? And the AI says, that's a romantic image. So when someone wants a romantic vacation, don't show them the front of the hotel, show them that picture. We do the same thing with reviews. So there are lots of keywords in this review, pool and lazy river and spa, but what are the concepts? The concepts are water sports and family. So if you're searching for water sports and family, that's the review I should show you. So together that gives better answers. So if someone says, I want a couples hotel in Barcelona with a great spa near the beach, we show them the right hotel with the right description, the right image, the right opinion of the crowd, and the right opinion of the expert. And guess what? They buy. Because we're actually showing you what you asked for. It sounds simple, but it's actually quite complicated to do. Now, our latest product is what we call conversational commerce. It's like chat, but much more than chat. So you can actually ask our product what you think about. I want a hotel in Singapore for our anniversary near the Emerald Hill for under $10,000, flying out of Dallas, business class ticket. The hotel should have a beautiful pool, and I'd like to go for a week starting October 3rd. The average traveler would search 38 sites to get that answer. But actually, when you put that answer into our new chat product, you can see we show you a map of the hotels near Emerald Hill, and all the images are a pool, and all the reviews are about what you asked for. So we're finding, we just launched this 2 weeks ago for Emirates Airlines, highly engaged travelers who are chatting with a computer, a bot, but getting the answers they want. And at a certain point, they can give that over to an agent, and the agent knows right where to pick up and finish the booking if they don't want to do it themselves. So let me finish up by talking about Airbnb and HomeAway, because that's what CertiStay is all about. Airbnb worth $31 billion, HomeAway sold for $13 billion. You can see the market cap of Airbnb versus Hilton or Marriott or Host or Accor. They've grown tremendously. I think you can probably see that chart, and I can't. I think that's 2012, 10 million room nights. This year, 100 million room nights. By 2025, 1 billion room nights. So they're scaling amazingly fast. They're now offering things like experiences, like tours and experiences. They're offering dining. They are helping to build a hotel. So there's going to be an Airbnb hotel. Which is kind of an oxymoron, but they're going there. Where are the people coming from? Well, as you can see, most of the people who are staying there are moving out of traditional hotels. And it's not just leisure travelers. This is attacking the business traveler as well. Lots of business travelers saying, I like to stay in someplace interesting. I don't want to stay in the same old chain. I get tired of it, right? So it's a great, expanding, exciting industry, but there's some storm clouds there. Airbnb denies liability after guests plunged 2 stories from a balcony. Airbnb says, not our problem. Airbnb banned from condo after guests caused $10,000 of damage. Christchurch, Airbnb fire, a wake-up call for the industry. So there are lots of liabilities as an owner in having your property on Airbnb or HomeAway. Unregulated short-term rentals facing new rules in Bellingham. And you could say the same thing in Alberta, the same thing in St. Paul. And of course, even here, municipalities are saying, why shouldn't these new kinds of accommodation be regulated the same way hotels and B&Bs are? So now a word from our sponsor. The homeowner's dilemma is this. On the one side, they want to make money, but on the other side, They don't want to get sued. And that's the genius of CertiStay's idea. So here's how CertiStay will work. First of all is the inspection. So CertiStay inspects your Airbnb property to ensure compliance for safety. Does it have fire alarms, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide, security systems, adequate door locks? Does it have exits? Are the balconies safe? What are the other hazards? So they will certify the property that it's up to snuff on all those things for $98, and then afterwards $18 a month. And if you pass, then you get to show this seal on your listing so that the customer knows they're coming to someplace that's safe and secure. Now, there are other benefits that go along with having your home inspected. They insure the property at no additional charge, so you get a $5 million liability policy included. And that's super important because so many people who put their home up on Airbnb or HomeAway think their homeowner's policy covers them. It does not. It doesn't cover them at all. And if you have somebody fall, injured, paralyzed, they can wipe you out. They'll take all the money you have unless you have backup insurance. So $5 million should be enough. And the even cooler thing is, because your home has been inspected, you can get up to a 35% discount on your homeowner's policy. Because I didn't know this, but most, well, I guess I knew it, but I never thought about the impact. Most homes are not inspected by the major home insurers. They just pool the risk. But if the home is inspected, they can say, wow, I know they have a smoke alarm, I know they have good door locks, I know my liability is greatly reduced, therefore I'll give a discount. Now also, CertiStay will help you get the equipment you need, the safety and security products that may be required for compliance. So this is a product that basically pays for itself because you get the insurance for a very low price, you get a discount on your homeowners, and you'll get more bookings. So watch this short video.
So you rent your home through one of the many sharing sites like Airbnb or HomeAway. You earn rental income, everyone's happy, and you're part of an industry that's seen almost doubling in bookings each year. Sadly, even the most confident property owners pause and reflect when they read the news about the lawsuits due to guest injury, safety violations, carbon monoxide issues, and even fires. We've responded with a solution called CertiStay, an easy step-by-step proprietary review and certification process based on industry best practices. To demonstrate to your renters that your property is safe and secure while removing risk with built-in limited liability coverage. The CertiStay seal will have your guests sleeping well at night. After our in-person 90-minute review and $98 initiation fee, you become a CertiStay member at a low $18 per month. Are you ready to have the safest vacation rental in your area? Head to CertiStay.com to schedule your review today.
Again, I don't get involved with very many startups because I don't believe they're going to succeed. I believe this one will. It's a great idea, and Wolf will tell you more about it in a minute. So let's review lessons learned. Traveling can be a challenge. That's one of my friends in Antarctica. It's tough, but so can travel planning. But you don't need to search 20 sites. I've got a list here which you can't read, but I'm happy to give you. That's how I book my travel. It's what I've learned in 45 years of doing this, how I do it online. I'm happy for you to have it. Just write wolf@CertiStay.com, and he'll send you that list, and you can use it with my blessing. I hope that I've given you a few thoughts about how this world of online travel has changed, how it's going to change again, when you should book direct, when you should use an agent, and what AI is going to do in the future. Thank you very much.